What is up, XRP community? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk about this BlackRock ETF, something that's been pumping the markets lately. Who will control CBDCs in the future? The various actors, the XRP God Candle, and a lot of other relevant stuff, including a $1 million price prediction for Bitcoin from a crypto exchange founder. So not just anyone on Twitter. This guy's a billionaire. He has a track record in crypto. He's an OG. Let's hop right into it. I covered this in my other video. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin ETF appeared on the DTCC site. If you don't know what the DTCC is, look it up. It is the clearing organization for all the big stock exchanges. It provides all the settlement. So when we saw the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF appear on the DTCC, there's already rumors that BlackRock's going to get approved. And this is what shot Bitcoin up to about 35K. Right now it's at 34.7K. And the DTC website also crashed. Upon IBTC, this is the BlackRock ETF relisting, one Twitter user highlighted that the previous listing showed a Y under the Create Redeem column, while the new listing had an N. The N means it's not open for Create Redeem because it's not live yet. But just the fact that it's on the DTCC should be pretty surprising to all of us. BlackRock is not just any hedge fund, they're the most powerful hedge fund in the world. $10 trillion in assets under management, and they're applying for a Bitcoin ETF. I do think it'll go through. So Arthur Hayes, the former CTO of BitMEX, talking about why right now is the time to bet on Bitcoin and also other cryptos, right? A rising tide raises all ships. This is an XRP channel, but if Bitcoin goes up, it's going to bring the price of all other altcoins up, if not more. He says global wartime inflation to drive the price of Bitcoin and gold. With the United States increasingly invested in two wars, the risk of escalation worldwide is growing. The time is conspicuous. The U.S. Federal Reserve faced persisting inflation but has halted interest rate hikes, while a so-called bear steepener looms for the economy. The structural hedging needs of banks and the borrowing needs of the U.S. war machine reflexively feed on one another in the Treasury market. He says if long-term U.S. Treasury bonds offer no safety for investors, then their money will seek out other alternatives. Gold, and more importantly, Bitcoin, will begin rising on true fears of global wartime inflation. And speaking of banks, look at these banks and their performance right now. 4 of Wall Street's biggest banks have recently plummeted to levels not seen since the devastating March banking crisis. Year-to-date losses are staggering, with one loss ranging from negative 15% to negative 24%, causing significant concerns for investors and overall markets. Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, year-to-date are all down double-digit percents. In crypto, a double-digit percent loss is not anything surprising, but for stocks, especially bank stocks, which traditionally are more safe, this is not looking good for the banking sector, and this war could be the timing is a little bit convenient. Fun fact, anytime a president has had an approval rating as low as Joe Biden's was, the U.S. has gone to war. Look at President Bush in the Afghanistan war. Overnight after 9/11, he went from having one of the lowest approval ratings in history to doing that speech where he says they can touch the foundations of our skyscrapers, but they will not touch the foundations of freedom and democracy. And then his approval rating doubled overnight. This isn't speculation as to the ETF being approved. This is Bitcoin discounting a future, very inflationary global war situation. Now look at this chart right here from Profit Blue. This line right here is the Bitcoin halving. This is a supply shock to Bitcoin, and typically after every Bitcoin halving, a few months later, we start to see another bull market. Now what he's showing here is we're going to have a massive correction back down to 10K Bitcoin. Hopefully that does happen because that will provide some good buying opportunities. But everyone right now is in that bullish euphoria. Everyone's thinking Bitcoin's going to reach new all-time highs because it is hit 35K, which is the highest it's been all year. However, this is what market makers do. They fake you out. They make you think that it's going to go one way, and then it goes the other way. So I wouldn't YOLO in all of my money right now into crypto, just because there is a scenario where Bitcoin does dump lower, and then after this halving in April of 2024, that summer 2024, I do think we'll have some nice gains. You guys need a spot to get XRP or Flare? I recommend Uphold. It's sleek, it's simple, it's secure. It's where I dollar cost average and get my XRP daily. You can find a link to Uphold in the video description below. And a great offer from Webull. If you want $41 in free stocks, Just sign up with Webull, deposit 1 penny. You can get up to $3,000 in free stocks, but typically you just get 40 to 300 bucks. You're guaranteed $41 in minimum value just for signing up and depositing a penny. Use that money to buy some more XRP if you want. A link to Webull in the video description below. So take a listen to this. This is the general manager of Ripple, Ashish Burla. Take a listen.
I've been building blockchain solutions for Ripple for 5 years. Feels like 100 years in blockchain, but I'm still standing here, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about our path to get where we are today. So, this has been a long journey for us in the blockchain space. I call the early days that flat line. If you told people you worked in blockchain, they thought you were crazy. And it's been, $1.5 billion in market cap in 2013, only a few digital currencies and assets out there, to today where you have $438 billion of market cap and thousands of.
So in 5 years, $438 billion market cap. Today it's worth $1.2 trillion. I think the market cap of gold is around $10 trillion. And gold is just one precious metal. When you think about the crypto space, we have Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, privacy coins like Monero and Zcash, and thousands of others. It's just a matter of time before this 1.2 trillion is 10 trillion. You might feel like you're late to crypto, but I see this as the internet.com boom. Everyone thought Napster and Yahoo were going to be the big companies to come out of that. How are Napster and Yahoo doing today? It's Google, it's Apple, it's Microsoft. So those are the options you're looking for. Who's going to be the next Google, the next Apple? And if you're going to bet on any company and their token, I would definitely be betting on XRP. So ISO 222 is set to go live in November. But for the European nations, I think it's called the SEPA. I forget what that stands for. They're pushing that back. Migration of the SEPA payment schemes to ISO 222 postponed to March 17th. And someone says down here, yeah, it's only the European regions. And you can see for basically all the other major banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, HSBC, Bank of America, Citi, Credit Suisse, Barclays, FedNow, their implementation dates are still November 19th. So that could have a shock to the crypto markets too. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this November. And this was a leak from the Swift GitHub. The Swift standards release code ready for November 2023. And it shows right here, Swift standard release update live November 19th, 2023. And that's the same date all these banks have to implement ISO 222 standards. Take a listen to this clip here about Elon Musk talking about Bitcoin not being the chosen one for a transactional currency.
Bitcoin is an interesting example, obviously the prime mover on this, but the transaction volume of Bitcoin is low, and the cost per transaction is high. It is, at least at its base level, suitable for maybe an exchange, a store of value. But fundamentally, Bitcoin is not a good substitute for transactional currency.
Bitcoin is not a good substitute for transactional currency. Bitcoin maxis would disagree with us. But I think it's clear something like XRP, something that can do thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands transactions per second, that will be the substitute for transactional currency. It's not guaranteed it's XRP, but it's going to be something like XRP, something that has throughput and product market fit. Some more bullish news for crypto. I don't know who this guy is. This might be the telecom billionaire. I think he was the third richest guy in the world a few years ago. He owns all the telecommunications industry in Mexico. And he has come out and said he is bullish on Bitcoin. Always love to see that. A good tweet here. BlackRock, Fidelity, Invesco, and other major spot Bitcoin ETF issuers are probably going to need several million Bitcoin to satisfy customer demand over the next 24 months. Where are they going to find that much physical BTC without driving the price to 200,000 plus? He makes a great point. BlackRock, 10 trillion in assets under management. Fidelity and Invesco have lots as well. And there's other Bitcoin ETF issuers. And to issue a Bitcoin ETF, you're going to need physical Bitcoin on the side to back up that ETF. And he makes a good point. How are they going to buy all this Bitcoin off the market when currently we're seeing record lows of Bitcoin on exchanges? That buying pressure is going to have to force the price of Bitcoin up, definitely. And now here's a really good clip from a Ripple employee explaining who will be the various actors and operators who will control the CBDC system. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. It's free and it gives me feedback and lets me know you enjoyed the content. And comment Ripple in the comment section below if you want to go above and beyond. I'll try and respond to all the comments, but thank you guys for your support. Take a listen.
So who would be the admin and who would be the central bank of and union?
Yeah, good, great question. So I kind of tried to show different personas interacting with the currency here. So most underlying payment systems and payment infrastructure is typically run by some sort of operator that's designated by the central authority. Yeah. So if I think about it in that simplistic term, that the administrator is somebody that's providing that technical platform that is doing basic administration of onboarding end users for the central bank or the issuer. Yeah. So they're the kind of systems administrators, so that when you want a new application, you want a new login, they're the people you go to and they set it up. Yeah. The other two user profiles or personas that I looked at was a chief cashier and a distribution officer. These are just names that Ripple have given these activities really just to demonstrate during the issuance process, discrete roles. So a chief cashier in this example has the authority to do issuance, to create new coins. This would be typically somebody that we would expect to be operating at the monetary authority or the central bank, just as they would do today to sign off the physical printing of money. And so what we do is we've been working with a number of central banks and monetary authorities to map into our system their processes of how do they do things today, how does this look like in a CBDC world. So the issuer is really sort of the really senior figures that sign off and authorize the physical production. The distribution officers, as you saw from the demonstration, have a slightly different user interface. They can't create, all they can do is distribute. So it allows segregation and separation of concerns and responsibilities. And really it comes down to the authorities of how do you sign and how many people are needed to get involved in the distribution issuance of the currency. But we would see that as really as monetary authority or central bank users who have those designated responsibilities in their current roles today.
Okay, great. So simplify the economic side. Chief cashier, this was the central bank. The distribution officer was the commercial bank, private bank. And let's oversimplify again. The request to issue or mint a new N token, 5,000 N token, was the process of, let's say, credit creation, right? More or less?
Absolutely, yes. It's a trigger and activity that allows the central bank to perform that function.